sorry that we are late. I'm saying we, like Ping had any part in it.
I'll say I'm late too. You can just blame me.
Okay. Well, I was late tonight, and it is simply because I, at the last minute, hit my leg on a baby gate and cut it open. So I just told Ping it's perfect because we talk about true crime, and now it looks like I'm sitting in the middle of a crime scene. So it couldn't be more full circle. How are you doing over there?
It's a little bonkers over here too. We've got people here doing, I don't know what they're doing, but they're in my hallway and the winds are crazy outside. So it's a
Oh
little
my,
all
really?
over the place.
Like like stormy weather or
It's
like
kind of like in August down here, it's almost like we have like a windy winter
Mhm.
season. So the winds are like picking up every day until spring. So
Oh wow. We had some like tropical winds today this afternoon. Was it this afternoon? Yes, it was this afternoon. It was like thunder, like soft thunder, a lot of lightning, and then these like where it like makes a sound like where the wind like literally whistles. And then that was coupled with like all I can explain is like tiny like misty rain, but like in big sheets of it. You know? Like, does that make
yeah,
sense?
I saw a video out of Florida yesterday of like just crazy amounts of lightning at night. It looked like it
Yes,
must
that
have
was
been like
last night.
thousands of strikes.
Yep, that was last night. It was absolutely insane. Um, yeah, it was crazy. So let's see. What else is going on that I can tell you guys about? Um, ba, 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 ba. It seemed like there was something I wanted to share with you all, but then now I can't think. But tonight we have a good program. I have my camera off because well, I'll turn it on just to prove that it's me for a second, and then you'll understand why I have it off. Just because I don't want anybody. So I'm a little like hot mess. It's sweaty. I'm just sweaty. I had to pull my hair back. My hair is clean. I promise you, but it is just a mess. So tonight I am not comfortable, and I tried to put like some weird hair product in my hair. It did not work out, and so yeah, so I probably will leave my camera off today. I don't know. We'll see. Well, no, you know what? We're just gonna own it. Sometimes you just have bad days. I don't know. I might turn it off. Anyway, nobody really gives an F, right? So we have a good program tonight, but I thought that we would start with something a little bit lighter. And so I have a story if you don't mind if I go first.
Yeah, you can go. Is this your doll one?
Yes.
All right, go for it.
Okay. So I'm going to start out by telling you guys a little story about me, but this goes into the creepy story I'm going to tell you. Do this. All right. So I have this little doll. She lives on my purse, and her name is Babyhead. And I've had her since the kids were really little, like since they were like 4 and 5 years old. Okay. And it was a way to get us all to take pictures. It kind of was like that Amelie thing, where like she had the little gnome and she traveled around, or people that travel around with a hedgehog, or whatever it is, the cutout from what's that movie, Up in the Air. It was just a thing, and we would laugh about it. And I have a lot of pictures from when the kids were little, but I don't feel comfortable like putting my kids like on YouTube, or my stepkids on YouTube. So this is Babyhead. She goes out with us on date night. That's at a brewery. Um, she likes to go. This is in Virginia. She likes a good Bloody Mary. Her and some of her friends came to my 50th birthday lunch. um, Sometimes she just needs a quiet moment, a little zen, chilling in the sandbox. Oh, this is blocking it. Let me see if I can do it like this.
Aimee, was that the lizard from Tangled?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. The chameleon. Yep. We were just talking about how much we both liked Dingle the other night, too. Yep. So, yeah, this is her chilling in the box. She likes to go to the skate park with us. And she just hangs out and she says, street is neat, but the soul's in the bowl. So this is her on vacation. See, she's got her little chameleon friend. And my sweet husband, who's on the left right here, he even gets in on the fun and lets me take pictures of him and his cousin with baby head on their adult beverages. But this is an entirely different story that I'm about to tell you. So this has been going on for a couple of years. That's my mom calling. I'm going to put her on silent. Okay, so this has been going on for many, many years, but it's become a news story in the past year. So there's about a 40-mile stretch of coastline that's like right around Padre Island, Texas. And these big giant dolls have been washing up on shore. And nobody really knows why. And the way they're found is that these scientists, this marine biologists, they go and they sort through what washes up on the shore, the debris or whatever, but somewhere in the current there's a mass amount of dolls washing up. And so this is one of those. I want you to imagine, 2 or 3 times a month finding something like this on the beach on your daily crawl. And they say that you'll see the pictures. Some of them have like barnacles on them. Some of them, are missing appendages. They've been chewed on by sea life and what have you. So here's a couple that were found. Frightening. This one has a barnacle hanging out of its face. You've got like the Barbie doll types and the other little baby dolls, but they have no idea where they're coming from. And it's not like there's anything else really washing up in mass amounts, so they're not really sure why. So it's kind of started this like cult following, and I just thought it was kind of interesting. Some people think it's the current for the Caribbean, but still, like, why are these dolls? I mean, they're plastic. That kind of makes sense, and that they're traveling with a certain current, that kind of makes sense. But this is really strange. Like I
have a bit of a theory on how they got there.
I would love to hear your theory.
So, oftentimes in the Gulf, you have hurricanes and you have container ships who often they stay offshore to weather the storm, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens in these strong storms is containers get washed over the side, and then eventually, after rotting in the ocean for many years, they break open, and the currents pull them around for ages. Like you can see, they've got barnacles, and then
Mm-hmm.
eventually they make it to shore. Because it's the Gulf, I'm pretty sure that's maybe how they got there.
Well, that would make sense. I mean, it's just really weird. I mean, look at all these. Like, can you just imagine, like, you go to work, like, once or twice a week, it's your job to walk the beach, to go through the kelp, the seaweed, look for like, bits of tar, petroleum washing up, deceased animal life or perished animal life, and any other debris, and you're finding all these dolls. So it's become like kind of a game with these biologists, like not a game, but like a hunt. It's like, what are we going to find? And they turn something kind of weird and creepy into something beneficial. So many people are interested in these dolls. They started a Facebook page, and they now auction these off. Like, my understanding is the first one that they found was like an SEX doll, and
And did that get sold really quickly at auction?
it did, and they were like, whoa. But yeah, and so then they used the money for their sea turtle program. So I mean that's cool, but it's just like, look at this one, like how it's the one I used. Well, that one's big, that one right there. But like, look at that. So people are saying, oh my god, they're gonna have nightmares. I mean, it's just
Aimee, how many did you bid on for these? Because I know you're like, I need one to go with my little one.
No. It's funny. People send me, like, if a lot of you are friends with me on Facebook, so you'll see my personal posts or whatever. And people will send me like things like, "Oh, look, you can stick a light inside the baby head and make a scary nightlight in your kid's room." And I'm like, my baby head isn't like supposed to be creepy. It's just supposed to be funny. You know what I mean? It's like it's just a way to like us to remember to take pictures, or we talk about baby head's passport, like how many states has she been to, or how many flights has she taken, or you know what I mean, like it's just like that. And it was a way when they were little to engage, and now that they're like preteens and teenagers, like it's another way to just kind of like when there's a moment like baby head comes out of the purse, or like all of a sudden they'll see it like somewhere, like there's a picture somewhere. So I don't know. Anyway, I just thought I'd share it. It's not really true crime, it's a mystery. For all we know, like this could be like empty carcasses of past Pablo Escobar filled dolls or something crazy like that. Wouldn't that be fun? But in the meantime,
I think he's into submarines, not dolls, but okay.
why do you have to? Wasn't the movie Traffic? Wasn't that where they were bringing in the white powdery substance and dolls?
Blow?
Blow. I get blow and Traffic mixed up. There's a joke in there somewhere, but we're not going to say it.
A blow in traffic? Yeah.
So, anyway, again, not true crime, but and I have a little. I want to share a little a news story because it's made national news. So Smithsonian has done articles on it. I put some links in the most anything that we talk about tonight, as long as I kind of have a heads up in advance. I've provided those links and stuff in the description of the video. But I'm going to go ahead and mute my microphone. I'll play this real quick.
Wash up on Texas beaches.
Looking eyes, but you can tell it's been out in the ocean. Some of the ones that have some, just the head.
Anyway, that's it. Nothing's really working well tonight. It's just going to be one of those nights. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. But I do know that you have a really, that's what I want. That's really what I want. Make myself like so much bigger. I know you have a really good story tonight out of, I believe it's Sydney, Australia.
Yep, Sydney, Australia, with the two girls who were on our thumbnail.
Yes. So go ahead and share that with us.
So, a little while ago, these two sisters' bodies were found dead in their apartment, and the police are not really sure how they died or even when they died. The only reason they were discovered is because their landlord was like, "How come they haven't paid their rent in a month?" And then they started getting concerned that no one had seen them. And then just today, I'm going to show you. I don't know if I can show you, but I can read it to you. Their property went back on the market because obviously their bodies are in the morgue, and
Right.
the owner wants it back. But this is what they put at the bottom of the listing for the rental. This property has found two deceased persons on the 7th of June 2022. Crime scene has been established and is still under police investigation. According to police, this is not a random crime and will not be a potential risk for the community. I think, that would scare most people away.
Yeah. And so is that a policy in Australia, or that you have to disclose that? Because I scanned part of the article on it was saying it's still an active crime scene. It's being investigated, but here's the monthly rent. It's like, okay.
So, yes, in that state of New South Wales, it is a requirement. I think it's for any violent death. murder or manslaughter, that they have to release that information, which kind of gives us a little bit of a clue. If they are releasing that, then it's possible the police think this is a murder and or some sort of manslaughter, because I know about a week ago some people were thinking murder suicide or some sort of suicide pact, but now it's yeah.
Right, because let's back up a little bit. They were found with no signs of distress, so we have to assume that like it was pills or something like that, right? In two
Well,
separate
I don't know about that. It could be anything.
Okay, because what I read was that there was no trauma, no visible trauma to the bodies. I read that in like one article, so it doesn't mean that was one article.
Well, it could mean that because they were there for so long, they had decomposed so much that there was no visible signs of anything because they're so decomposed.
That's true. That's true. That's why I like talking about this, because different people read and form different conclusions. Yeah, that's much different than like what I was thinking. So yeah, so they're found in two separate bedrooms, and these sisters are originally from Saudi Arabia. Is that correct?
Yes, they were seeking asylum in Australia,
Yeah.
and they seem to have integrated fairly well. They seem to be a little cautious with people and strangers and stuff like that. They had reported some strange things, like there was a guy at the front of their house and they reported it to management, but when they reviewed the tape, it was just a guy standing there. Like, it's not like he was looking at them or anything, and they're not sure why they reported it.
Right. There was like a car parked downstairs, and from the window, he was like standing by the car, and they were like, "Oh, he's looking up at us," and it was enough where they had somebody investigate, I guess, or check it.
Right. And then they did a police welfare check, like before they died. The police actually did a welfare check on that property. When the police came in, they were very hesitant to let anyone in the apartment. But then when they were in, the two girls huddled in a corner and were like hugging each other and just like, stay away from us. So I don't know if that's trauma from their homeland when dealing with authorities, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. And they had been. How long had they been in Australia, or how long had it been since they left Saudi Arabia? It was like 2017, right? Somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's only been a few years. It's not long.
Yeah, and so like I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but did they work, or because what I gathered is that they don't have much of a footprint anywhere other than living in this apartment.
No, they both have ABNs, which is like a business number in Australia. They both have ABNs registered to a address in a suburb nearby.
Mm-hmm.
One of them worked. I saw something recently today that said one of them did have a job and a boyfriend. So that's interesting as well. I don't know what the other sister did though.
Yeah. So I know we've talked about this like other places, and we briefly touched upon it once here, but can you explain, like, or can you share rather than explain, can you share some of the differences between the way the news is reported in Australia and the way it's reported here? Like,
So the news here is different to the United States in a way because of the information that's released from police. In America, you guys get a lot more information from your like sheriff. He'll be like, "Oh yeah, they got shot in the head, and like we found them in this corner, and they're over there," and they'll, you get a lot more detail. But in Australia, the police are very tight-lipped until a trial or anything like that comes. And if no trial, unless there's an inquest, you don't ever find out anything. The other difference is in Australia, they don't really report. I should have said this before. They don't really report not living any longer situations.
right.
They don't do that really here, and if they do, there'll be a massive disclaimer at the bottom of the article, and it's to stop like contagion events, like people read it and they're unstable and then they get ideas. It's to stop that type of thing.
Right. So if it was anything self-inflicted, they sort of do the same thing here. Like they'll report what it is, but they won't give specifics unless it's already kind of been leaked or whatever, because they don't want people. They don't want to glorify the act for people that are unbalanced or depressed or anything like that. Anybody that might find that to be an option for them at that time, I guess. So we're not going to promote it, but what I find interesting is that at least this is my perception. In Australia, you don't see the press running around to the boyfriend or knocking on the door or yelling at a press conference. If you know what I mean, like that. It am I seeing it wrong, or is there like more decorum, or is it like
it's more the fact they do all that stuff, but it's more done privately. It's more done in the background. You're not going to be like, oh, and we have the latest interview with the boyfriend and stuff. It's more like they will do those background checks, and then they'll provide some of that information in their articles, and that's basically how it works.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. So it's still an active investigation, but nothing else. And they're saying that apartment's still a crime scene, but they're trying to rent it.
Yeah, that's very strange. I know everyone's struggling right now, but judging by the photos, it looks like it's been released because it's all clean and empty. So it means it's been cleaned out. Maybe they have a date when they can actually lease it. Maybe it's like a month away, or I don't know. But you would think if the police were still running an investigation, they wouldn't legally be able to rent it.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. The only time I've I heard of this in one case. No, actually, I didn't. It was somebody. There was a homicide in an apartment. It was declared a self-harm issue. The apartment was cleaned in the appropriate manner. And then the family came back 6 months, 8 months, a year later, the family of the victim, and said, we aren't convinced it's a homicide, and we'd like to bring in a third party to do some testing on what you could hear from inside the apartment, outside the apartment, like little tests for trajectory of a bullet, things like that. And they made an agreement with the current tenant. But I can't think of like any case where somebody just moved into a crime scene. I know, I will tell you this, in the Gannon Stout case out of Colorado, there was a lot of rumors, or there was a lot of confusion because Gannon had been murdered in the home, and yet people were under the impression that the family was still living there. And I think they maybe were for like a night or two, but then they were cleared out of the house so they could do everything they needed to do. Does that make sense?
I'm pretty sure once it gets declared a crime scene, you have to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I will say there is some. So these girls, they came from their home country. Their home country has a very widespread religion. When they came to Australia, they denounced that religion and became atheists. Now, I don't know, but we do see a lot of honor killings, and I wonder if it's something like that. Because when they commented, when they tried to get in touch with the parents asked for their images not to be put into the paper or into any media, which is very strange.
That is a very, very strange. So you'll have to keep us up to date on that, because you told me, like I say behind the scenes, you told me earlier today that this case is really heating up. Why do you feel that way? Do you feel like there's pressure? Like, do they have family in Saudi Arabia reaching out, or because they were here for political asylum, that's like part of the, or not here, but in Australia, is that, are there special interest groups? What's making you think it is heating up, and who's lighting the fire?
I think it's coming from the police. The
Okay.
information is coming faster and faster each day. As where the last week or so was very quiet, and now the police are asking for more public help. They're also releasing more of what they know. The papers are doing more stories on it. It feels like to me this is just about to hit like a crescendo, because that's kind of how the cases run down here. They kind of start off very quiet, and then they'll latch on with the media. And I think that the media is just starting to do that now. So I'm hoping we'll see a bit more about it, and we'll be able to find out what happened to these two girls.
Wow.
Women, I should say, not girls.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. That's very respectful. I'm not super picky about that, but I know other people are, so I appreciate it. I was going to talk about another story tonight, but I didn't think we were going to have a lot of time. But if you don't mind, and you all in the chat don't mind, I might share it with you tonight. A little. I think everything I brought to the table tonight is a little rough around the edges. So it'll be a little rough around the edges, but it is an interesting story. And
Go for it. The floor is yours. You can do whatever you like.
All right, so I'll share that in a minute. But in the meantime, I put on the thumbnail that there were some new filings in the Vallow case, and I kind of want to talk about that because I think there's some confusion, and I want to do this properly and diplomatically and without sounding cryptic, I guess, because I can't. Do you know what vague booking is, Ping?
I don't know, but you always have these little words, and then I'm like, oh, I learned something new. Like you're like dirty deleting, and I was like, what's dirty deleting? And then I learned that, and now you're going to tell me about vague booking.
Oh, vague booking is like for people that are on Facebook and use it. Vague booking is when you make a post that's kind of like, oh, don't know if we'll make it to the end of the month, and then everybody who hops on there like, what's wrong? How can we help? And you just don't answer.
Oh, isn't there another name for that? It's like something like sympathy posting or something like that.
Like sad fishing is when you talk about something that's sad in your life to get attention all the time. Like whenever you feel like you don't, and you could have sadness in your life. So I'm not, but it's when you're like intentionally using it to get the attention that you want.
Okay, so they're similar ideas.
They are. Or they call it like casting it out and reeling it in. That's when you're like, oh, I'm not pretty, or that's right, and you wait for people to like build you up, like you're just casting out your net, and now you're waiting, like you're like a little.
We call that fishing for compliment.
It's fishing for compliment. Yeah, really, yeah, exactly. Or baiting. Actually, while we're on the subject, who was like, I'm usually pretty good at knowing all the little like abbreviations and acronyms and stuff like that. So I'm going to type one into the chat because it was funny. I was sitting there talking to somebody the other night and they're like, what does that mean? So it's, let's see.
Aimee, I love when businesses try to do acronyms for like whatever they are because they have a really long name, and it comes out like almost like a dirty word or something. And it's like they're so oblivious to it because they don't speak shorthand, and they're like, yes, we spent $10 million on this, and it's glorious. And the whole internet's like, oh my God, it's so funny.
Yeah,
I see that a bunch.
I do too. My favorite is when somebody puts a web address together and they don't look at it like with all small, like lowercase letters, or they don't think about it all run together and how somebody else might say it. And it ends up saying something like, instead of like, let me think this. something. Oh. So if it was like like TWOS, like twos, like the last name is like twos, TOO apostrophe S hits hitters. You know?
Yeah, I've seen stuff like that
Yeah.
too, where it ends up making a dirty word.
Like the bad word. Yeah, that I love that. Yeah, Eric, you got it. Everybody's getting it. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Why do they use an N at the end instead of a K then?
I don't know. I don't know. But how about this one? Do you guys know this one? Wait, I've got my caps lock on. Okay. Actually, no, it's not that one. I messed it up. AITA. You know what that one is? Can you take a guess?
No, I don't know that one. Do you know what the one that's like IAMA or something?
Well, you have to give me the letters.
I think it is IAMA or something. It means something. You would have seen it before.
Yeah, Penguin got it. Am I the a-hole? Like, I was having to explain that to somebody the other night, but I love all these like abbreviations all the time, and it's like I'm not trying to like be cool or anything by using them. I just think like I love if you know, you know, and I like AITA a lot because like you're starting a story, you're like, well, this has happened, and am I the a-hole in this situation? Like I need to know, like without having to say it, and you don't have to like, oh. IANO. Well, I see anal.
See, there you go. There's the dirty thing in the normal
Yeah.
abbreviation.
What is that?
It's I am not a lawyer.
No. Anal. No, I don't. I mean, no, God. Oh, yeah. Let's just. What is NTA? What is penguin? What's that? I want to know that. I love this because, like, in legal docs, a lot of times you will see a lot of these like abbreviations and things like that. We talk about them a lot, but it's kind of fun to just talk about like.
It is fun to talk about.
What
Amy, I anal sounds like a really bad porno for like iRobot or something.
I know. I'm just gonna stop because every time I think that I'm gonna say something and it's not going to be unintentionally vulgar or making fun of myself, the minute it leaving my mouth, I'm like, nope. Then I'm starting to get. I'm starting to get the vapors. It takes a lot. And my mom's probably watching too. So it sounds.
No, she's not watching. She called you. She's not watching.
Well, she probably figured it out. She's like, "Where's my daughter? I've got to make sure she's not dead." So I will check here and here and here. Oh, and then I'll check the internet. So meanwhile, there's somebody behind me like, ratings and all. Okay, all right. NTA. I like that, Penguin and Eric. That's a good one. I'll have to remember that one. So, all right. So, for those that follow the case of, and I am going to use the names that the court uses on the court document. So, Lori Noreen Vallow and Chad Guy, gosh, that name, Guy Daybell. If you go to the state of Idaho portal, it'll tell you when there's like new motions and any updates in the case. So there were, and it's always a big deal. It's like you want to go and look, you want to figure out what they mean, if they're available, you want to read them. If they're not available and you request them, you want to request them. We all want to keep up with this case. And I'm not going to do this every time, but if you're not familiar with this case, Lori Noreen Vallow and Chad Daybell were having an affair. They were both married. Lori's husband was murdered He was shot by her brother, and Chad's wife, Tammy Daybell, died in her sleep, but not really because she was exhumed much later. And now there is an indictment for murder. It was originally not natural causes, but there wasn't anything suspicious about her death to begin with until investigators started digging into things, and her children became missing and nobody could find them. The grandmother of one of the children really, and her husband really led the charge in looking for Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow. And so now they're being charged with murder. It's a capital case. And there's just, if for some reason you've never heard of this case, get on board, because it's a cliche, but you can't make this stuff up. You couldn't write a book about it. You just couldn't. And if you can, you're the most brilliant writer in the world, and you have a very sick mind.
Are you calling Chad Daybell the most brilliant writer in the world?
No.
Because he would write something like this.
No, he doesn't. He writes about having unpure thoughts at a graveyard.
So
Right.
not zombies?
No, yeah, exactly. And all kinds of, he had a bunch of things that at one point there was a document dump that had some like erotica and things that he'd written and correspondence between him and Lori. And there were a lot of terms used then, and I'm just gonna tell you guys. So I had a lot of fun with it, like when it came out or whatever, but later, through speaking through some people and getting some feedback from the family members, it kind of hurts when you go on a big long session about that. So
I guess it's probably something that you just read, and it's something to be there and known about, but not probably to broadcast.
yeah. And I mean, that's one of the reasons I like being able to have open, honest discussions about things and exchanging opinions without people getting defensive or anything like that, because I hadn't thought about it that way. I hadn't thought that joking around about their stupid 8th grade dirty little love letters would reignite trauma in some of the family members, so it was good. I like that exchange. I like learning things. But anyway, so if you haven't read the case, do get on board. So again, new filings, they come up on the portal. People are looking for them. People are looking for the documents. They're not there yet. But there is something called, or it's listed as a motion to intervene. And I know that a lot of people are talking about what that might be. And just to clarify, it's not a joke between Ping and I when I say this. I mean, and I don't want anybody to think that I claim to be a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I do a lot of research, and I look a lot of things up, and I make a lot of phone calls, and to make sure that I understand what I'm doing. So this motion to intervene is going to be interesting, because what it means the majority of the time is that a third party has an issue with the case, and they are literally going to intervene. They want to be heard. They want their concerns. There's something about the flow of the case or the way it's being handled that they want addressed. And
so Aimee, this person is not in the case. It's not a lawyer. It's not someone on either side of the teams. It's someone completely outside of the spectrum.
Yes, it's somebody not. Yeah. So there's some speculation going on, because I'm not wildly a fan of loose speculation. I don't want to do that, but I do. And again, I apologize, because that's why we started out with do you know what vague booking is and things like that. I don't want to be dramatic and super cryptic, but this case is going to take a weird turn, I do believe. And I just kind of hold on, because there's two things that are about to, if I'm correct, I almost like want to write it like I write it on a piece of paper and then like fold it up and give it to somebody to hold so that I can see if what I think is going to happen, what some other people that I talk to think is going to happen. If it does, that we were right. But when this does unfold, I really do want to address it here, because I have some opinions about it. But just pay attention. Know that there's some things coming, and it's probably something you haven't even considered. And pay attention to that portal. If this is no, how do I say this? This is no shade on any other channel or creator when I say this. Okay, it's just me looking out for you guys. You don't have to pay for these documents. Okay, you don't. They're going to be 99% of the time on the website, or somebody in at least the group of people that I associate with has them, and we don't charge for them. So if you think you have to join somebody's Patreon or something, it really bothers me that, like, it's fine if you want to support a creator. I get that. That's wonderful. But if you want to give them $10 a month to help keep their channel going, I think that's fantastic. I love it. We all need support. Like, it costs us money to do this. It does. And it costs us time. But if you think, so if you're giving $10 a month or $20 a month or $30 a month on a Patreon, because you want to give that creator, you want to support them financially, that's wonderful. But if you're giving that $20 or $30 a month because you think you're getting documents, you're not. I mean, you are, but they're free and they're everywhere. And if you will, if you ever have a question, you can email pingandaimee@gmail.com. And if we have them, we will share them. No problem. I just, the thought of people charging for something that's free because you guys don't know, not you guys, but because some people don't know where to look for it, that really irritates me.
I can tell you guys too, one of the easiest ways to find documents, at least like a basic way, like there are other in-depth ways that Aimee's talking about, but 90% of the time I've been able to find stuff by going to the case's Reddit forum. And I guarantee you in the first 5 posts, someone will have a link to the documents.
Mm-hmm.
So just do that. And then if you can't find them, there's other ways to go about it, checking the filing systems. And there's even like things like Sprinter, I think they have stuff sometimes. And,
Most of the time, if you know the county, you can go to the county clerk or court website and find them that way. Sometimes, like, it'll be, let me try to think, like the city of Frostproof, but it's actually Polk County. And so you may have to like Google, like, Frostproof, Florida. What county is Frostproof, Florida in? And then you find the county and you go like that. Some states it's going to be a little bit different, but it's not that hard to navigate. There's just no reason. It really bothers me when I see people paying for documents that, like, they got for free. I can get for free.
Yeah, I've only seen a couple of exceptions to that rule where people have actually gone and done legal filings or things like that to get certain things, and then they've put it behind a paywall. But the people who are just pinching it off a website and then putting it behind a paywall, yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. No, I my a good friend of mine, together the other day, we paid for some documents. We where we were getting them from, they would not, they wouldn't take a credit card over or a bank card or anything. I literally had to go get a
like a money order or a wire.
Yeah. and then put it in the snail mail, you know. But yeah, so people pay for documents. I mean, there are things that you have to pay for, and you're not going to be able to like call up some city and say, I know there's 9,000 pages. Can you make copies of them and mail them to me for free? I'm talking about like digital things, digital events that happen in court, or not digital events that happen in court, but the digital file for a court hearing or a copy of the motion filed that day. Like 9 times out of 10, there are a couple states that are the exception. We could have a 3-hour conversation about this because there's one that's the bane of my existence, and it's Utah. But in South Carolina drives me crazy too, because so Utah makes you join a website and pay like a monthly subscription. So you're like, do you want to be a member? And you're like, yeah. And it's like, okay. You know, I don't know the real amount. I can't remember. I'm thinking it was like $12.99 a month or something like that. And then that allows you to buy documents off of their website. It allows you to buy, like you're a member of the club now. So now you can spend more money with them, but you actually have to have a membership first.
Yeah. I'd rather just donate money to creators I like because I like them, not because they're going to give me something like a document that, you know, I
Right.
feel like when you're giving money to a channel, it should just be because you want to support them. I think sometimes people get too carried away with, you know, we've got to have a shiny carrot for people or they won't help, that type of stuff. But I wanted to discuss what Penguin's asking very quickly.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I'm glad
Penguin,
you asked.
it does cost money to do this. We
Yeah.
have ongoing subscriptions to certain things. Our software costs money that we have ongoing subscriptions to. We have like things to different news readers and news services. They cost money. Some of them are weekly, some of them are monthly. You know, I know the equipment's a sunk cost, but things break. We had to buy certain things to get this running. I think I've probably put in probably $250 or something so far in different bits and pieces that I needed to make this work properly. Because if you guys remember the first episode, it was like me and Aimee were speaking in a tunnel and we were like echoing every time we spoke.
Yeah.
So those, and it costs us a lot of time. And I know you were like, well, time doesn't cost anything. Well, it does. It's time we're not working on other projects or jobs we actually get paid for. So we're taking money, we're losing money that way to provide content for you. So, but we're not asking for anything. I don't think you guys have ever seen a donation link here. So, but
No.
yeah, hope
No.
that answers it.
Yeah. So Penguin, like on, I would say for monthly costs, we have 2 subscription services. One, I'd have to look at how much, but I just paid it, so I literally can look and see how much it costs. Okay, so that is $14.99 a month. Then I pay another $22.99 a month for another subscription, and another $11.99. And then in order to present this way on StreamYard, so that we can post your comments and all that stuff, like, and be able to move all this stuff around and play video and share screens and all that good stuff. That's a monthly subscription too. Now there is just so that we're transparent, there is a free version of StreamYard, and it's amazing. It is. The only difference is if you can see my cursor, we don't get to put our logo up here, and there's something wrong right here, and that's like, now my eye just saw it and I gotta go fix it.
Are you talking about the little white thing?
Yeah, that's weird.
It's like you hit the eraser on your
Yeah.
you know, like paint or something.
Yeah, I did. Sloppy. So you don't get to brand it yourself. That's not really a huge deal. That's not a deal breaker for the free version. What the deal breaker is you would only be able to stream like 4 times a month. That would be it. Like you could use it like 4 or 5 times for free. After that, you have a limit per month how much you can stream or how many hours that you can stream. So, you know, we have to, because we're on twice a week, we have to do the paid one. But yeah, there's a lot of expense that goes with it. And I'll be honest, like, today was very haphazard for me. I was trying to do things like here and there and in between, and just for this show to get those the baby head slides up, to pull the news articles, to pull the videos, and to upload it That in itself, believe it or not, and I work very fast. It's just, it is what it is, and it can be tedious sometimes, was a couple hours. And then there is Ping and I talking in between about what we're going to do, researching, like questions, answering the comments, like all those things. It takes time, and I'm not real. I feel kind of badly like tonight, and not on Ping, but on my part, because I don't feel the best tonight. But I probably put in about 6 or 7 hour, no, about 6 hours per show, because there's a lot of stuff that has to be done on the back end that we do as well. So yeah, I mean, it's like it's almost like a full work day, on top of everything else that you do, and we do it because we love it. But there is, when people say there's cost, there is, and here's the other thing, because I had this with somebody that I collaborate with every once in a while. They didn't have, I don't think you have to have 5G, but they didn't even have is it 3G ping?
Probably 4G is the
4G.
most decent one.
They didn't have that, and there was a lag. I mean, there's just a certain point where like you have to keep up, or your stream doesn't flow. You get a lot of interruption and buffering and things like that. And it was so hard. And so like, there was a couple of us that chipped into, because they couldn't afford to upgrade their internet. And we just chipped in to make sure that happened, because it was impossible to do without it. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Like normally, I mean, for the most part, like, yeah, did I already have a computer when I started? Sure. Did I already have internet in my house? Of course. But things like microphones, things like Envato, they're called Envato, Envato Stream Decks. Like, I don't use a green screen right now, but I mean, I have one, like all lighting, everything. Like,
We might use one. Do you want to see us in France or something? We could do that.
Right? It'd be super fun. We should just really go though.
But yeah, we don't want to whinge like, oh, poor us, because we're here because we want to do it.
No.
We're not asking for anything except for people to subscribe,
Right.
and maybe hit the like button and leave a comment. Right now, that's it.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't want to be like, I don't know why Ping's here, because that's what it sounds like. But for me, the reason I'm here, this is my outlet. This is my space. This is what I like to do with my free time. There's other people that after their kids go to bed at night, or my husband goes to bed early a lot because he has to get up very early, and I just can't go to bed at 8:15 at night. And I'm not a party girl. So this is my thing. Like, everybody goes to bed, and this is kind of like my wind down time. And I sit here and I love true crime, and I don't have anybody to talk to about it. And so, like, yay, like, thank you so much for being here. So now that, we could do this. So I love doing it. I look forward to it. Sometimes, it gets frustrating. We all have our moments, or, it could cost you money, but, all kind of like, this isn't my career. I would love it if it was, but it's not.
I can tell you that me and Aimee both look forward to Tuesday as soon as we're finished on Thursday. Like, on the weekend, we were like, is it Tuesday yet? And we're like, no, it's only Saturday. And we just get really excited for Tuesday, because we get to come back and see everyone and bring you new stories. Like, that's the aim, is to give you guys something that you may not have seen, or if you have seen it, you don't know a lot about it, so we can talk to you about it, and it'll get better.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
I think even this weekend, like, we're never like wishing for something bad to happen, but was it Saturday that we talked and we're like, do you think maybe we could do like a little live over the weekend, a little something if something happens?
Yeah, because I was trying to look around on it would have been Friday night in America, and then Saturday in America. It was like a ghost town. Like, does everyone just stop doing stuff on Friday afternoon? Everyone's like, all right, that's it, we're heading home for the week.
Right.
I find it's very quiet in the true crime realm over the weekend. I mean, there is a couple, but it's nowhere near as busy, say, from
Mm-mm.
Tuesday to Thursday, Friday. Tuesday to Friday seems to be like just jam packed with people after 7 p.m. at night.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many channels talking about, actually, I don't, well, I'll finish that thought. There's so many channels talking about the exact same thing. Now, I don't have any problem with that because I do believe that everybody has some skin in the game, and maybe somebody's talking, like, we'll talk about the Daybell case. Maybe somebody's talking about the religious aspect, and maybe you've got like legal, legal tube talking about like their lawyers, and they could tell you exactly what's going to happen and how this works and how that works. And then you have, people that, whatever it is, like everybody has like a different way to go about it. But my thing is, what the other night when we were talking, is that I couldn't find anything that I could just like drop in and understand. Does that happen to you? Or wasn't like the channels I was going to are bad, but because a lot of people have good chat rooms and good audiences and things like that. There's some
A lot of the channels that were on the weekend seemed like they had like closed communities where it was like you had to know all the inside jokes.
Mhm.
A lot of the ones I drop into over the weekend, and that's fine. If that's what they're doing for their friends, that's cool. But it's very hard to join in on them because it's like, oh, I don't know a lot of the people here, and they don't seem very friendly, and I don't know the jokes they're talking about, and they're kind of having two-way conversations between the chat and the hosts, and I'm like, even though they're trying to talk about a good topic, I don't feel like I can join in. That's why
That-
we're trying to do it different here, where
yeah.
anyone can come, and if you want to come this for this one tonight, and then you don't want to come on Thursday or something because it's not a topic you like, it doesn't matter. You can just join whenever you want.
Mm. Yeah. That's exactly what it is for me. Like sometimes I'll go in there and I'm like, oh, this is an interesting conversation, but I don't, like when you're new, like you start slow and you're like, oh, like what I just said, that was an interesting point you just made. And I'm not going to say the channel, but immediately, the creators on there going, is that a troll? Does anybody know who that is? What do you mean by that comment? I'm like, I meant it was interesting. Like slowly leaves the room.
Aimee, that's so funny. Just by that accent, I think I know who you're talking about, and it's pretty funny.
don't.
I kind of like her channel, and I do I go there a little bit sometimes, just because
Yeah,
I find her funny. But yeah, I know who you're talking about.
yeah, but it made me feel bad, and I just never.
Yeah, her channel's very defensive, and I think it's because they have a lot of, I guess, not trolls, but they just have inter-channel issues, I guess. But yeah, I find that too.
It was,
So hopefully we don't create that here. We want people
yeah,
to come and hang out.
yeah. I mean, that's one of those things that are one of the reasons why, even though this channel hasn't been in existence very long, a lot of us like know each other from other places, and we've never had that kind of environment. So if you're new here, you never will. Amber East says, "Oh, I appreciate that. I'm a little socially awkward." Anyway, I think that's my middle name. I was thinking about that today. Like, we are so off of true crime tonight, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I gotta tell you, we have this really good friend that started this brewery. And when I say started a brewery, like he didn't know what he wanted to do with his life, and so he's like, I'm gonna start making beer, and he literally had like an Airstream, like
One
that
of
he
those old chrome ones for like the 50s.
yeah
They're awesome.
parked on a some random lot somewhere where like he was renting, and he didn't live in it. Like him and his wife had a house, but he had this Airstream, and he had like picnic tables. And like when Chris and I were dating, we would go out there and there would be like 100 people standing in the middle of a field, or 50 people standing in the middle of a field getting their beer out of an Airstream. Well, now he has this like, I don't know, 20,000, actually he has two locations now, 20,000 square foot brewery with like the barrels and all that, and like the vats and all this stuff. Well, blah, 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 blah. He is having a 10th anniversary celebration on Sunday. And Chris is like all excited, and Brett called us. Brett called us and was like, you know, you guys were there from the beginning and you have to come and blah 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 and all this stuff. And like immediately I'm just like, I don't want to do the people-y thing. Chris is like, can you do it for like 10 minutes? He's like, I know it's not your thing. He's like, I know that like it has nothing to do like with what it is or who it is or anything. It's just it's, I don't know. It's a thought of like having to make small talk with people. Maybe I don't know. I'm always interested in like when you say you're socially awkward. Is it like having the conversations? Is it like is it just like I don't do small talk well and I start doing goofy things? Maybe that's where baby head came from me. Is like it is a way for me to like not necessarily like draw attention to myself, but like just be
It's
like,
an icebreaker with people and
yes,
conversation and stuff.
yeah, because they want to know about it or they want to, you know, or that kind of thing. I don't know.
Aimee, we did add one more case to give people a little bit of true crime before we go. Did you want to talk about the Adele Bailey, or do you want to save that for Thursday?
You know what? Let's save that for Thursday if that's okay with you.
Yeah, it's your link and your story, and you know I'm happy to do whatever.
Yeah, but I will. Maybe I can give you. I feel like I want to talk about another story that I said I was going to give you like the rough version of, but I feel like I am not honoring this person or what they've been through by doing that, and it's always hard to go back and say we'll go do it deeper, but.
Do you want to save that for Thursday, and we'll do Adele Bailey on Thursday, and then whatever that is that you're holding?
Yeah, we'll do that, but I'm gonna lay it out for you because maybe, and I'll drop this link in the description.
All right, you can lay it out.
Maybe we can, hey, maybe we can do a little like homework assignment. So there was a Netflix series called Unbelievable, and it's about a woman who is sexually assaulted, and then she's kind of told that she's made it up, and a lot of like really nefarious things happen. And this case mirrors it. The woman in the case, her name is Gretchen Van Winkle, and we'll talk more about her on Thursday. But she was when she was 24, so I think she's like 48 now, so this was like quite a while back. When she was sexually assaulted, there was a lot of evidence in her apartment. The man was hiding in her apartment. She came home. He obviously was already inside. He tied her up and was holding a knife to her. And when he got on top of her, she had the opportunity she had a fight or flight response. Like, this is just not going to happen or I'll end up dead. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like that type of thing. And so she cut him. She got away from him. She tried to stab him in the back and the knife broke. Eventually he overpowered her. After the assault, he told her to never tell anybody. She did report it to the police. She did have a SANE exam, which SANE, if you guys, that's the word we use for when they do I'm just going to say it, when they do the rape kit. So all these things, eventually you'll find out in the story that, so when he leaves the apartment, she stabbed him, he's bled, he's raped her. He also, while he was waiting for her, had a little snack in her kitchen, a little snicky snack in her kitchen. Ate a banana, threw the peel in the trash can, stuff like that. So there was all kinds of stuff everywhere, and they collected it. And there was an officer in there, for whatever reason, has a history of destroying evidence in assault cases. And it's a story about how she kind of gets things back on track. So that's what it's very complicated. But I think I think it's worthy of telling, and I think people need to hear it so that, God forbid, you're ever in that situation, somebody you know is in that situation, whatever, that you can, and you could be your own advocate. And you know, we've talked about this before. Like, we're talking about a bad law enforcement officer, and we're talking about a corrupt county or whatever. I support the police the same way my husband works in a hospital, and I support doctors and nurses and everything else. But I'll tell you what, anytime anybody in my family has a procedure, like, there's a secondary person there, and it's for advocating, because there are things that happen. So I feel like this is the same thing with this case. When I tell you, it's not that, like, I'm trying to pull stories where, like, oh, look, the police are bad, and this is you know, we're the gun channel, and then our tagline is, we hate police too. It's not.
We're always the gun channel after 12
Yeah.
at night.
It's the pew pew channel and let that bacon sizzle. No, it's not like, it's not like that. I appreciate officers of police officers, law enforcement, all of that. It's important, but just like any profession, whether you're having floors replaced in your house, if you have a housekeeper, if you have a babysitter, if you get new tires on your car, there's bad people in every industry. So don't, but yeah, it's a complicated story, and it's a long one to kind of lay out and tell. So I want to be able to she's been, not that she's watching me, but I feel like Gretchen Van Winkle has been through so much that to breeze by her story in 10 minutes would be just another slap in the face,
It'd be a disservice to her.
Right. And I want to honor her story and what she's done. So on my end, I think that's everything that I have for tonight. And then Thursday we have probably a more meatier lineup. I told Ping that today was, I don't know, I had an ADD day.
Floofy day.
Yeah. There's probably a sink running downstairs or something. Who knows?
You'll find out when your house is now a pool.
You know what I did the other day? I went to add water to something, and I usually set a timer for 45 minutes, but I went to bed. Of the hose outside.
Oh my god! You better hope you have stone floors and not floating wood or something.
Well, no, thank God it was outside. But if any of you all, we talk about everything here, but if you have ADD, please tell me there's something in the air this week, because I feel like I'm losing my mind and going crazy. I cannot focus on anything.
Probably
Nothing.
full moon.
You think?
Could be. They say the water is at its highest point or whatever because the moon's closest, and then water in your body, so it affects your mood.
Oh, I didn't know that. So,
because the moon pulls the gravity. So if you're made out of water, yeah.
No,
sorry, not to mansplain it to you or anything.
No. I was just starting to I was just sitting here thinking, maybe I need to drink more water. I was like, oh, that's not what he means. And then my mind just started making jokes, because that's what it does when I can't focus. So yeah. Oh, see, yeah, Berserker Loki, yeah. All over the place. And what night were we talking that I told you I was bouncing off the walls hyper? Saturday?
So yeah, it could have been Saturday, or it could have been Sunday night.
I don't know. It was just yeah. Tina Reddington, she says, there's something here. I'm kind of ditzy sometimes, but today I did something I've never done before. Well, you can't drop that bomb and not tell us what it is, Tina. You got to tell us what it is. We're not going to go until Tina tells us what it is. No, I'm kidding. No pressure.
I wore underwear in public the first time.
Stop. I have the worst. I think I told it on another channel, but I went to the grocery store. This was 3 or 4 years ago, Went to the grocery store, and I had thrown on like a pair of jeans. I didn't. It wasn't a planned thing. It was like, oh, we need something. I'm gonna run to the grocery store, and I threw on a pair of jeans that were like sitting on my dresser, and I went, and then this man was like, "Excuse me, ma'am," or whatever, and I'm like, "Who's he talking to? That's so obnoxious." And, and then he's like, "Ma'am," and he's like, "Are these yours?" And like he's like, it was a pair of underwear that had fell out of the leg of the jeans.
Only one?
Like only one pair of underwear?
Yeah, only one. There wasn't like several.
No, it was one. It was one pair, and he had picked them off the floor. And then the supermarket aisles are like super long,
I'm
and
surprised he didn't have tongs and he was running after you. Ma'am.
I was just like, I can't believe I have to walk up to a stranger. Like I have to walk like 50 feet and walk up to a stranger to retrieve my underpants. Like this is
Aimee, you're going to end up on like one of those Fox shows where they're like, these are the videotapes from 2008 that we dug up and no one's seen, but here it is.
I'm sure. I'm 100%. I have the worst luck with stuff like that. Like I've had that happen, and then my Chris thinks it's really, really funny. Like we have a camera that like a Ring camera or whatever that sees like the driveway and stuff, and like every once in a while he'll look at it, he'll find something funny, and he's like, "I'm gonna post it on the internet." So I had these. This is probably like only like a week or week and a half ago. I have these pajama bottoms that are like my security blanket. Like we always joke about them, like how they need to go, but it's kind of like a blankie, when you have like one little piece left of it and you're like, it's my blankie. So these things are donezo. And I went outside and I was to get something out of my car. My car was pretty far back on the driveway, and when I was walking back, this is at like noon on a Saturday, they literally just fell down. Like I was I was ghost pantsed in my driveway. Luckily we don't have any neighbors or anything, but he caught it on camera and he keeps like playing it and laughing.
At your next big milestone birthday, he's going to play that for you.
Probably, because that's who he is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's the guy that like if you had to wrap yourself in a towel to like step outside for a second to do something, he'd lock you out of the house and be like, ah!
He's still got a touch of frat boy left about him.
Oh, he was never a frat boy. He was a skater boy. He was a little punk. He's still a little punk sometimes.
Same. Very same.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Anyway, do you have anything else? Otherwise, we'll call it a night. Call it time of death.
Nothing else on my side, so let's call the time of death for tonight, and let's come back Thursday, and we'll bring you more true crime and random conversation.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you, and we'll see you Thursday.
Good night.